I want to come back to in just a moment, Gwenda. Can I just put this question to you, Frank? If you go to the tent embassy in Canberra, you will see the word sovereignty, and what Gwenda was talking about was sovereignty. But if we go to the Mabo case itself, it stopped at the water's edge, didn't it? Of course, it recognised pre-existing and continuing title, but that fell to the soil, if you like, with British law. But sovereignty, it stopped at the water's edge. Why?
Because the judges said we're only judges, and we're a court set up under the sovereign, under what we would call the Crown. And they said we're not here to question our own legitimacy. We're the highest court in the land, but we're not able to question the sovereignty which is underlying. And that's why the tent embassy is, and has long been, an eloquent poetic expression to the nation about questioning the underlying efficacy of the sovereignty of the nation.
Could Australia ever deal with that in a real sense?
Well, I don't think it can deal with it through the courts. So the question is how we then deal with it as a nation, and as a nation you would normally do that through your founding document. It would be, I suppose, saying to those of you in the tent embassy, what would be the preconditions for you coming in under the Australian Constitution? What are the things that you would want to see recognised in terms of self-determination?
But remember that the other aspects of the Uluru Statement is about agreement and treaty making, which is a long, complex problem and goes to the heart, I think, of what's being said. But it's also the national process of truth-telling.
Yeah, I might just go back to Gwenda. Where does the Uluru Statement fail in your view, and what would you prefer?
Well, first off, the reconciliation was on number 339 of the Royal Commission of Aboriginal Deaths in Custody. We forgot to address the 334 to 338. For 30 years we've been reconciling, 232 years we've been reconciling. Why are we still trying to integrate into a system that systemically oppresses us? We need open dialogues. We need more communication on the grassroots, not hand-picked selective representative bodies that are still controlled and dictated by government. We need to come to the table, come to the Aboriginal tent embassies, sit with us, take it back to the people, take it back to the grass people, us that are still living on these concentration camps. You call them communities. They are actually concentration camps in this country. The Holocaust happened here in Australia, and it needs to be addressed. And we do that by coming to an agreement on our terms, not on government terms.
I might just get a comment before we move on. Thank you, Gwenda, to Gail Mabo. Gail, I'm wondering where your father would sit on questions of the voice, because I know that Eddie Mabo had long campaigned for autonomy for Torres Strait. I'm wondering if you're listening to what Gwenda's concerns are, Frank's statements about sovereignty, and even how the Mabo judgment did not resolve questions of sovereignty. Where do you believe your father would sit on the voice?
So for me, I think what Dad was trying to do was, regain his land, make what he wanted to do beneficial for all Australians. Because at that time, you have to think, it was a height of land rights, and so Dad was one of those people who listened to everything about what's happening for land rights, and he knew people who were fighting in different communities, like. He knew the people from Yirrkala who did the bark statement, and he listened to those. He listened to all aspects of peoples, because to be informed and to move forward, you have to listen to all. And it's that thing of you have to learn to sit down and listen, because if you don't listen to everyone, you can't get their messages across, and you can't be selective on who you speak to. You have to talk to everybody, and it is inclusive of all communities, not just the